This school year will look very different from last year. Most schools will be returning to in-person learning, and that's a potentially scary situation for a lot of children who are at home for most of 2020. Psychiatrist Dr. Fumi Hancock is here with some advice for parents to help students get prepared. It's a big year coming up for the kids, isn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Meryl, for having me on your show.
Oh, I'm so glad you
Thank
could
you.
be here, and I think parents are going to really resonate with this information. Talk about how parents should be talking with their children right now about the start of a new school year.
Oh my God. Let's start with this, some statistics here. Suicide happens to be the fourth leading cause of death between the ages of 15 and 19. And then, of course, you also have depression, which is the number one issue that's going on with our children. So, having said that, it's essential for our parents right now to begin to prepare their kids to going back to school. A lot of them are going through anger, outburst, irritation, depression, anxiety. And so it's important that we let them know what to expect.
Yes, I understand. Some parents, I think, are very concerned that their children didn't excel in virtual learning last year. What can they do now?
Well, one of the things that they could do with expectation is, for example, having a heart-to-heart conversation with them about what is real, what happened the last time versus what they might be expecting when they're going this time. And another way that they could also help their kids is actually maybe, for example, taking them to a bookstore, preparing them ahead of time. If your child happens to have a weakness in mathematics, you do not wait till they go into class. You take them to a bookstore, get something that is very, very appealing to them, and begin to talk to them about that subject. Whatever that subject is, it's time to start the conversation.
You know, social interaction was such an important part of school, but it was missing last year. How do you prepare kids for getting back with their classmates?
All right, so we have something called emotional intelligence, right? Where essentially it's the ability to be able to perceive, to use, understand, and manage emotions. So it's important right now that we begin to practice that emotional intelligence, self-awareness, teaching our children self-awareness about the things that they're doing, self-regulation when they get angry, and then motivation when they lack the motivation. And of course, the last one is empathy, having empathy for others and also acquiring some social skills in preparation.
You mentioned that a lot of kids are suffering with anxiety. What if your child is fearful about returning to school?
Well, one of the things that you can actually help that child do is visit the class before school starts. A lot of times you have that ability where you can call the counselor in school, call the principal, and take that child to that classroom. In fact, if it's possible, have that child meet with that teacher ahead of time, or even some of the classmates ahead of time. I often find out that when this is done, it kind of relieves them a little bit because now the expectation, what they do not know might happen, they already know what to expect, and that kind of settles them down a little bit.
All right, some really good information there as our children start heading back to school in just a few short weeks. Dr. Hancock, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mary.
If you'd like more information, we'll put a link to Dr. Hancock's website on ours at newschannel5.com.